I'm Brownie for OXS and the Thundercat Racing Association of New Zealand, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about propellers. So first of all, surf cross propellers. So there's a few types we use, but generally you're looking at a 13 pitch or a 14 pitch propeller. The popular propellers are the Yamaha G series, the old school G series, so this one's a 13G. The other popular ones are the Solus, so this is a 13 Solus. But 13 Solus is good for rough water, 14 Solus could probably a bit more top end, better for flat water. You can see the G series is a semi-cleaver design, whereas the Solus is more of a bunny ear shaped. They both handle a little bit differently, and again they both have advantages and disadvantages, so the best thing to do is to take them for a spin and get a feel for it. Rough water endurance propellers, by far the most popular propeller in New Zealand is the 16 Solus. The 15 Soluses are also okay. There's also some 16 Power Techs and 16 Gs out there, and even some Vengeance if you can get your hands on them. But these are bunny ear shaped and just a good all-round rough water endurance propeller. For flat water racing and flat water endurance, we use a cleaver. So this one here is a Mercury cleaver, but you can also get Signature series, you can get Wind Race cleavers. There's a few brands out there. All the propellers have to be through hub, so you can't use the over hub cleavers. And you can just see the design, it's the sharpened tip. This is a great prop for going extremely fast in flat water, but it has very little in terms of grip. So in rough water, it tends to just cavitate and not give you a whole lot of speed. So there is a few tips when coming to props, a few basic tips. First of all, you've got to try them. Different props will react differently on different hulls, different engines, different crew weights. So you've got to try a few and give them a go. Generally with props, new is not better. The old school propellers, especially the Soluses and the Yamahas, did have a shape more suited to Thundercats, which we've been able to get more power out of in New Zealand. So when shopping for propellers, often it's better to hunt around, look on Facebook, on Trade Me, start trying to get a hold of old racers and see what you can find, as you'll generally find some propellers that are already well tuned and well suited to Thundercat racing. If you are going to buy new, the next thing to do once you buy a new propeller is you're going to need to do some work to it. A new propeller out of the box will likely cavitate and probably not have a huge amount of speed, so you're going to want to start doing some modifications, such as adding a bit of cupping, sometimes changing the blade shape. So if you look at these two propellers, they are the same base stock. They're both a Solus. This one's fairly standard, this one's been worked, so this one's specifically been worked to get a higher top end speed. So this is, for me, a rough water surf cross prop, so the 13 Solus, which will pull about 70 kilometers an hour, but it'll get there very quickly. This one will pull closer to 74 k's an hour, but it won't get there quite as fast. So in a flat water surf cross day, I'd use this. In a rough water surf cross day, I'd use this one. Now there are a ton of prop guys up and down the country. The most popular by far for Thundercat racing would be Cam's Marine or Done Right Propellers. Both of them are based out of Tauranga. They can both work your props, balance them, rehab them, do just about anything you want to do, and they've both been working Thundercat propellers for the best part of 20 years in this country. They are a great place to start with any prop, especially if you're going with a brand new prop and you need it to be tuned to your boat. Outside of that, generally most teams eventually either learn to work propellers themselves or they find their own prop guy out in the middle of whoop whoop somewhere, and he'll do all their work for them. So like anything in Thundercat racing, when it comes to propellers, the best thing to do is to just talk to people. Get down to the beach, talk to existing racers, talk to people on the forums, on Facebook, have a good read, and then get out and try as many propellers as you can. In my experience, at least half the propellers you end up trying won't be that good, but every now and then you'll put one on that will be an absolute gem. So when it comes to working your propeller or tuning your propeller for your boat, it's a bit of a black art and it's a huge question, not something I can really cover in a short video. However, a few basics to know. First of all, the tools you need is a decent GPS, a stopwatch, and an RPM counter. So the GPS is going to give you generally at least your top speed, and the rev counter is going to give you your revs. If you're either Yamaha or Gemini, you're looking around the mid to low sixes for your RPM count. If you start dropping down into the fives, then you've probably got a prop that's too high a pitch or too much cupping on it. The stopwatch is then used where you can put a couple of buoys out and start timing yourself going around buoy to buoy. You're trying to find the best average speed of your laps. And so you're putting cupping in and out, pulling and playing with the blade until you get that sort of best time. When it comes to actually putting some cupping on a propeller, every propeller is a little bit different, but basically the recommendation is get yourself a copper hammer, and you want to just start putting some cupping around the trailing edge, basically to about the shape of your thumb. This one has been done using a tow ball, so it's not exactly the most advanced in the world, but it did do the job. So a lot of teams also thin out their propellers. I'm not a big fan of doing that myself, but it is absolutely common practice. The only thing I would say is make sure whatever you do to one blade, you keep it even on the other two, because you want to keep it balanced. And after you've finished making any modifications to your prop, send it to someone like Done Right Propellers or Cam to make sure it's still balanced so it doesn't vibrate and damage your gearbox. There is a lot more things you can do to a propeller. However, the thing to do is to go out and do it yourself. It might take you a couple of years to work it out and a lot of trial and error, but once you've worked out how to work propellers for yourself, it will absolutely pay dividends when it comes to racing on the water. This has been one of our introductory videos on racing in New Zealand. If you've got any other topics you'd like to see us cover, comment down below. If you'd just like to argue with us, comment down below, tell us what we're doing wrong. Other than that, check out the rest of the videos to learn about Thundercat racing, and for anywhere you can get equipment such as Cam's Marine, Salty Marine, family boats, we'll make sure that all that information is in the description below so that you can click on the links and get yourself into the sport.